in that matchup, not just against the field. But
again, Lynch on the left versus Zach Lesage on the right, and Finn is playing the Zoroark deck with the 4 executes. Meanwhile, Zach opting for a completely different route, going with the old Buzzwole GX, trying to capitalize on that fighting weakness from Zoroark. So it looks like Finn does get to go first and has that Battle Compressor to start off. Definitely a great card when you're playing 4 of a card that you want in the discard.
Yeah, you'd want to basically be able to fill your boots with executes and see what else is in there. There's one. There's
fill
2.
your boots?
Yeah.
I have never
Have you
heard
never
that
had the
turn of
expression
phrase.
fill your boots?
No.
Yeah, if you go to like a all-you-can-eat buffet or something, you usually get like a doddery old woman, fill your boots! Trying to kind of encourage you to fill your plate. Maybe it's just where I'm from. My apologies.
Florida?
Yes, I am originally from Florida.
Oh, okay.
No, we do see the discard just filled up with goodies there.
I think it was 2 execute and a Colress.
Yeah.
And here we see Pokemon Communication, a card that's come back into the format really, just because when you play like 30 Pokemon,
right,
it's pretty good. Like, it's just essentially a free search for a Pokemon that you actually need. Like, most likely it's going to get a Tapu Lele GX here.
Not gonna lie, I actually looked at that as it went down, and I was like, wow, Computer Search got brand new art.
And that's why he usually sticks to VG, folks.
It took me a moment. I was like, I recognize communication, but oh boy. They really shouldn't do that.
And we actually see the Lunge Zorua coming from Finn. Usually most people opt to play the Paralyzing Gaze. Sometimes they're a little bit hard to come by. But I actually like the Lunge Zorua a lot because for double colorless, if you flip heads, you get to knock out an egg, knock out a Joltik.
Right. No,
kind of steal some games.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're attacking with Zorua, you're probably up against it to begin with.
Yeah.
But you've got to be able to get out of that situation somehow, and that does give you an option. Not only have Finnegan's boots been filled this round, his bench is getting filled as well with a plethora of Zorua.
For Zorua. Who needs Tapu Lele? I got this Zorua.
Yeah, I mean, if you have the Bridget in hand to open anyway, you don't need to be playing around with the Tapu Lele, so only 1 short of the full bench there as he hasn't quite finished his turn yet, still going through, mulling over a decision or 2, and
well, he's probably debating if he...
There it is.
Oh, okay. That second Shaman EX coming down, he started the first one. I think now he's deciding if he wants to attach double colors or not. It kind of puts a target.
Where he puts the double colors.
It puts a target on whatever you attach to's back, especially when Zach has a deck like Buzzwole where you can just go Buzzwole Energy, Guzma, take out the Zorua that has a double colorless.
Right, and with the nature as well of the fact they play together, they obviously team deck build together. You have to imagine he's going to be able to bring out a Buzzwole, and with Phinnegan putting that down kind of early, I guess, probably has to be a little bit scared of that getting knocked out. He still needs to find a lot, though. He does play an actual computer search this time, able to go in and grab some of the cards he needs, so...
And I do want to say that there is a little bit of spice in Finnegan's list. It's not your normal Lonzo, your Zoroark with 4 eggs. He plays a one-of Executor from Plasma Freeze.
Oh.
Wow. You don't know what that card does, do you?
I am a little unfamiliar with your Plasma Freeze Executors.
It is 1 colorless energy, blockade, 10 damage, your opponent can't play supporters next turn.
That's so mean. That's just straight bullying at this point.
Talk about straight bullying. We have a Karina for a Buzzwole GX with a Wide Lens. Wide Lens, something that...
The bench is not safe anymore.
It's kind of been a gimmick card ever since it came out. Like, this card is a meme, and I'm going to play it like that.
Oh, yeah. But it's not a meme in this deck because of the amount of Zorua on the bench.
Exactly. Like, if he has the Guzma, or he can't Guzma anymore, sorry. But being able to just take this knockout on the Zorua, also put some pressure on the Shaman. Getting rid of the double colorless that you played down last turn, essentially wasting your energy attachment last turn, still forces him to get a Float Stone and another double colorless along with the Zoroarks, and it just keeps this whole chain of stuff that Finn needs going when Zach really just attacked.
Yeah, I mean, he does manage to get the energy down with the Max Elixir there. I thought he was going to try and have to manually retreat, but it appears he's got a Float Stone ready for that Tapu Lele, and Buzzwole is in the active.
And here we see the Jet Punch, 30 damage to the active thanks to resistance, and the knockout thanks to weakness on the Zorua on the bench.
he really needs to evolve some of these Zaruas right now, because otherwise every Jet Punch is going to be causing an absolute ruckus. I mean, the strong energy helps keep the damage up. It would have been better than a Mega 10. We do see the Wide Lens actually removed by a Field Blower, so that's going to help. But overall, you know, it's time for trade. It's time for the eggs.
And we'll probably see players shortcut through a lot of stuff too, of just, all right, I'm going to propagation and then trade. So if you see them just randomly draw cards, that's probably what they're doing. Yeah,
you see a lot of gesturing from Phinnegan there. Looks like Finnegan's left-handed, just a fun fact based on the side his deck is, or he could just like playing backwards, that's all. It looks like Zach's requested that he does, you know, potentially pull those eggs out every time for a propagation.
Well, it's always good to see. He did trade away a Hex Maniac. He didn't play the Hex Maniac.
He traded
it away.
Yeah. We're saving the eggs for the Ultra Ball.
Oh, there is the foul play Zoroark being able to copy the Absorption GX to take the knockout on the Buzzwole and leave Zach with nothing.
Yeah, that could be really, really huge. I mean, he just needs to get it in, and he found Floatstone earlier in the turn to put it on the Shaman, so, you know, he's going through a lot of his deck. That's another Shaman that we've seen, another setup. But overall, you know...
Yeah, if he actually has a choice band, like, or access to a choice band, he could Knuckle Impact instead of using the GX attack, saving the foul play to a GX attack later on in the game.
Yeah, if he needs it. But at the same time, if you take the Buzzwole out, you obviously weaken the impact of Absorption. So maybe just use it early. Maybe just go all in.
Yeah. But unlike Roll's Buzzwole deck that we saw earlier, he's actually not playing Lycanroc. He's playing Garbodor instead. This is a deck that Zach has been playing for a while now. Played it in Australia, I think played it in Collinsville as well. And it's a deck that, it's his pet deck. Like, he loves this deck. And honestly, it's great being able to put early pressure on and then late game lock abilities and still having that pressure. It's what you want to do, but facing down a turn 2 foul play.
Yeah, he's the copy of the Absorption GX, as we see Phinnegan flip over the GX counter, and Zach is actually back to square one, apart from he's got more cards in his discard pile now. So big plays there from Phinnegan. The one thing going back to Zach's deck, you talk about it, I know that the Garbodor Buzzwole combination was kind of touted as the next big thing when Buzzwole was released in Crimson Invasion, and it's actually been a very limited amount of players who have, I'd say, stuck to it and tried to get it to work. I know there's a number of lists bounding around. Obviously, you know, Zach has a list of his own. I believe it's Frank Persich who's been playing it a lot and took it to a good run in Australia as well. So, you know, a couple of real diehards sticking with this deck, but you have to wonder, why hasn't it picked up more popularity?
And I just have to stop you. We actually see a Terrakion EX come down on Zach's side of the field. I don't remember its attack name, but its attack is 90 damage. You can attach 2 basics from your hand to one of your bench Pokemon.
Nice bit of energy acceleration and a good amount of damage.
It's also weak to grass instead of psychic.
That's a benefit. And that's something we talk about every time we see these Buzzwole decks. You know, what do you put in as the other fighting type? Yeah. We've now seen Zygarde, we've seen Lucario. Why not Terrakion? Why not give it a go?
There's also Landorus too.
Oh, but Landorus is the same thing as Jet Punch.
Yeah, it's not as good.
You don't want to double down on that one. It's a stalwart of the game, Landorus, being released in Boundaries Crossed, only playable in Extended.
Yeah. It's crazy to think how long ago that was.
Coming up on 5 years, I believe.
We're old.
Oh, unfortunately so, yes. There's no denying that. We are old. I mean, I remember when Terrakion was introduced to the video game, so...
Oh, wow.
That was back in my day.
And
the problem is, Terrakion's really not applying the pressure
no.
It's
for stack does 2 for 50, so like 3 energy, you need to hit max elixirs to actually get it going, and while you're doing that, Finnegan's just over here using a bunch of trades, foul playing some good attacks, and gonna take 1-hit knockouts for basically the rest of the game.
Yeah, I mean...
Oh, there's the Executor in the discard.
Oh, clearly decided against it. But you said Terrakion's weak to grass. Get it out. Get it in.
Nice. Choice band, deal 80. You can't play supporters.
Got him. That's a play I want to see. He seems pretty far ahead. Show us the good stuff.
And thanks to Skyfield, Finnegan's bench is just full of these support Pokemon, helping him draw through his deck. 3 Shaman now. Usually we just see the 2 from decks like this, and they opt for 3 Lele's, but him valuing Shaman a lot more.
He's been able to consistently pull through his deck though with the setups, and I think being able to do that. Once you've thinned out your deck turn 1 with the Battle Compressor as well, you know, you've got your eggs in there. If you draw cards that need you to discard, just never at liberty to not have to deal with that because of the way propagation works.
Yeah, exactly. And then we see a manual retreat, discarding the double colorless, bringing up the Zoroark. He does have the choice band on it, so he does have enough to take a knockout right now.
And that's what those decks...
Now he has enough, yeah.
Yeah, Skyfield's in play, he's got a ton of Pokemon down, you know, there's no reason for him not to, really, at this point. There goes Tapu Lele, and Terrakion's given his time to shine.
All right, dice rolling on Terrakion EX. Super Rod coming down from Zach. And look, there is the big bad Terrakion EX. 180 HP, Rock Tumble, 2 energy, 50 damage. And then Pump Up Smash, 2 fighting and a colorless, 90. Attach 2 basic energy from your hand to your bench Pokemon any way you like.
This card even looks old. It does. I mean, we now live in a world of GXs with full art spilling over, and we've just got Terrakion's head peeking through. It's going to be a tough ask, even with a pump-up smash. You know, it'd be nice to get the energy back in play, and I think it's doing the same job as Carbink, right?
Yeah.
But Carbink does it for a whole lot cheaper, does less damage, of course. And in the same vein, you know, he can't even max Elixir right now with that card, so...
Yeah, I'm actually interested to see if he plays, like, access to a multi-switch or energy switch, something like that. It does not look like he does. So we will just see probably a Rock Tumble for 100 damage. Granted, you do weakness, so...
I mean, 100s are good.
But
the
only problem is Phinnegan has Knockout on board.
Oh, 100%. Zach needs to put another Pokemon down with immediate effect. There's no real other way around
not only
it.
that, like, he only has 2 prizes left for Finn.
Yeah, he's certainly got to try the fight back, but I think it's going to be slow and steady wins the race.
Yeah, it's just since Finn had such a crazy turn 2, being able to capitalize on Zach's pretty good turn 1 as well. Showing him he had the computer search in his hand.
Here we go. Find the eggs.
It's always nice having a free computer search.
Right. Just gonna pull them up.
First
trade. And it's gonna go again for another trade. And there's the third trade with the eggs. That propagation ability is so much fun. How it obviously it resets every time it enters the discard.
It's insane, yeah. There's Tapu Lele, Wonder Tag. Does he have Guzma? No.
Grabbing a Colress. But I mean, Colress isn't exactly a bad draw with a bench this large.
It's not bad, but it could be better. Yeah, it's no Guzma.
People love the Guzma. It's been so essential. I remember back when Terrakion EX was a thing. That was the era of Pokemon Catcher pre-errata, and you were just able to do the same thing without changing your board. And after obviously Lysander that had the same effect, and now Guzma, it's always such an important effect to have in the game. It's sometimes you just need it to win the game, and missing it is pretty big there, I think, for Phinnegan.
Yeah, for sure. And I think the extra ability of just not having to, like, people thought when Guzma was coming out that, oh, I'm being forced to switch too, it might run into, like, bad things, like, what if I have to switch and then I can't retreat? But with Float Stones and a bunch of free retreat Pokemon everywhere, and even just being able to set up multiple attackers, it's such a great utility to have, because now you don't have to play a card like Switch in your deck. You don't have to play Escape Rope. You don't have to play as many Float Stones.
What about Escape Board?
I mean, that's what we're going to have to do once Float Stone gets rotated, but as of right now, Guzma's running rampant just because of all the free retreat.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you see it as much as expanded, but obviously back over in standard, Tapu Koko is still there just to sub in, sub out.
Hey, there's a person in this tournament playing a lot of Tapu Kokos. That's a very popular name.
The Koko spread deck.
Yeah.
It's
good old Israel Sosa.
Yeah, I would love to be able to talk about that one. I mean, as we talk about other goings on, Phinnegan's just kind of still tearing through his deck. He's already
double puzzle of time.
Traded 3 times, now landing the puzzle of time twofold. He's pretty much got a hand probably the same size as his deck right now. It's about the same. We do see the Zoroark receiving that double colorless energy, so he's ready to hit another Riotous Beating if he really needs to. I mean, Riotous Beating in and of itself is just going to start taking knockouts, as we do see the Bunnelby removed from play. Phinnegan's down to 1 prize remaining. That's all he needs.
And the unfortunate thing about this Terrakion right now, with the Floatstone on it, it can't actually take the knockout on a Zoroark GX.
Right, it falls short. But even if he gets one, I mean, we know this one towards the top of the screen, up by the discard pile, already has the double colorless energy on it. You know, Phinnegan just has the option to fill his bench right back up with the eggs, so he can just Riotous Beating for the knockout.
And Phinnegan just drops the Guzma in play, saying, yeah, this is what you have going for you next turn.
Yeah, Finnegan's just basically said, unless you can find a way to stop me attacking in my entirety, I'm going to be able to pick something off. I'm going to be able to fill up enough spots to do all the damage required with the Riotous Beating.
That's actually kind of funny, too, because Guzma was in Finnegan's prizes.
And that was the one he pulled off a single prize. Oh, Zach's good.
Oh, there's the strong energy. I misspoke. I forgot.
Oh.
You know, I completely forgot about one of the best cards in any fighting deck. You know, that's strong energy.
I mean, the main problem I have with strong energy is that you can't get it with Max Elixir.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you're trying to roll these Max Elixirs, kind of causes a problem there, but it is very good. I make jokes about it, but no, it's still very, very powerful.
So, Trekken will take the knockout here, but Finn just has game in hand. He doesn't even need to bench any other Pokemon. Yep. I think he just wanted to pump up Smash and attach 2 energy.
Yeah, I mean, just to show off how it works.
There's the Parallel City in the prizes that Zach showed off. Something he desperately needed earlier on in the game.
Yeah, I mean, you can't let Zoroark get Skyfield set up, because as soon as it does, it's just going to be able to Riotous Beating you for ridiculous amounts of damage every single time. Phinnegan kind of showing this deck working in full. Turn 1, Battle Compressor, fill the deck with Executes, and just play...
Turn 2, Foul Play for a knockout. Turn 3, knockout. Turn 4, knockout. Turn 5, game.
Yeah, I mean, he took knockouts every turn he could attack. And you think, if we do see Zach going first, what's he got to change in this one?
Yeah, basically, the thing that just sucked was getting Foul Played for that knockout turn 2. He put all his eggs in one basket, and Finn used all his eggs out of his discard. Yeah,
it's pretty simple game plans, really. I think it's hard to say don't get foul played, because there's not really much you can do based on how quick and easy it is to set up. I think maybe getting more knockouts with that wide lens, hoping that Finn doesn't get 4 Zorua. Yeah. And even if he does, you manage to pick off 2 of them with the Jet Punch.
Yeah, the thing that we definitely did not see that game was the presence of Zach's Garbodor. It's something this deck really tries to do is put that early game pressure, knock out Zoruas, and then go Garbotoxin, Parallel City, try to beat me.
Yeah, a lot of people have been talking about Expanded and basically saying that when you play Garbodor with Parallel City, there's a lot of times where you put it in play, Parallel City, and just hope for the best.
Yeah.
Hope they don't hit all the draws they need, but at times your opponents just will, or they'll be too far ahead. I mean, we didn't see any Trubbish or Garbodor at all, so you have to wonder, does he have enough consistency to get it out every game?
All right, and then here we go. Zach going first against Phinnegan, who starts that lone Execute.
Oh, it's not looking good for the poor Execute right now. Good job he can't get attacked. The Strong Energy and Fighting Fury Belt on the Jet Punch.
That's actually one card I love in these Buzzwole decks is Fighting Fury Belt.
Yeah. It takes it up to a really nice round, you know, I would say round, awkward to hit point number in 230.
Yeah.
Really makes it a little more difficult. And of course, the extra 10 damage along with a Strong Energy. All of a sudden, you're doing way more. You're taking a 30 damage attack up to 60, and against dark types with the fighting weakness, a really solid 120.
Yeah, and there we see the Battle Compressor discarding 2 executes and a Colress. Phinnegan actually playing a very heavy Colress line of 3, kind of conceding to the fact that, well, I'm pretty much going to have 7 or 8 Pokemon in play at all times. So this Colress is pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason not to. He grabs 3 Zorua off the bench again. Really, really simple there. But of course, if one of them does get hit, it goes down to Buzzwole. There's no other way around it.
So what Zach would love to see here is like a Guzma or Lysander type effect. Being able to pick off a Zorua and take a knockout on an execute would be really nice. It's even, you could opt to just deal damage to another Zorua because execute on the field is not doing Phinnegan any favors.
Right, it's just sat there, basically filling up space for
Unless
if he comes around to it.
Unless he just starts going ham with the Executor.
It could be an option. I mean, we saw the Terrakion. Maybe he's terrified of it so much that he's just deciding to.
And wow, we actually see him discard the Tapu Lele instead of the egg with Parallel City. And he's kind of like saying, yeah, you can knock it out if you want.
The longer I see that execute on the field, the more I believe that he's going to play something about it. Not this time. It of course does get knocked out by the Jet Punch. So.
All right. So again, that's the play Zach really needs. But if you think about it, one foul play Zoroark, copy that Absorption GX. It does 240 damage. Zach doesn't have another bench Pokemon.
Yeah, I mean, if he can find a way to get that into play right now, that'll be big. We do see the discard of the Executor.
Level Ball, that doesn't get foul play.
Nope, that's not going to get him that either. Kind of assessing his hand now to see if he can
I don't think
find
I see... Is there a supporter in his hand? I think there was a Hex Maniac. But that's pretty much it.
Yeah, we're going to see Level Ball. He's going to head on in.
Oh, that's awkward. He has another Zoroark GX, but no access to that foul play. It's right there.
Yeah, he even waves it at us just to let us know that it's there.
And remember, this is game 2. Phinnegan ended up winning game 1.
His start's so much slower now, though. I mean, he's going to have to grab another Zorua, but he can't leave it on the bench, really.
Yeah, so you kind of have to concede to the fact that I can't take the game this turn. I'll bench this Zorua, but he's going to have to evolve that active into that Zoroark GX if he wants to try to get a little bit more set up.
Yeah, and obviously buy some time as well.
Yeah.
Because then it won't get knocked out by the Jet Punch. See Phinnegan lining up the Execute as well, pulling it out, showing it for the trade. Still no foul play. Wasn't able to set it up this time, but maybe prepping for the worst.
Is this going to be the weakest Riot is beating?
I think it's going to be the weakest Riot is
Unless he chooses to bench down a bunch of eggs, but that kind of bad facing against a bunch of Jet Punches.
He's gone for it. Back to the 120 Riot is beating.
150 with a Choice Band.
Oh, he hasn't attached the Choice Band yet, I don't think.
And then there's the Hex. He did it in like one motion with the double colorless. Or I guess not.
No, it's just. It's
that's just a Zora. Okay.
Yeah, it's just waiting out. He put them both forward, and then kind of and ahed about it, thinking maybe if he needs it for later to make up for the fact he'd be missing a Pokemon.
Yeah.
Because it got put in the discard by Jet Punch, that he'd be able to do that, but it's not going to be this time. I think maybe just sticking with the 120 is the play right now.
And Zach definitely has some Pokemon now, getting the Buzzwole and the Landorus on the bench. But he's in this awkward position too, where if he doesn't get a few Max Elixirs this turn, he might have to commit all his energy to this active that's just going to get knocked out next turn.
Right, I mean...
But if he doesn't get the knockout.
It could still fall short of the knockout. I mean, he does... I think that's why he keeps the Choice Band in hand if you're Phinnegan. Because with the 230, he still needs to be making sure he hits the numbers. So if he can't find another basic to get on the bench, he can make up for it with the Choice Band.
Yeah.
But I do like this kind of play from Zach. Knowing he had to fill the bench, obviously a smart play. The one thing I will say, why is Zach so obsessed with cards from the XY on era? I don't get it. It's
just playing a little bit of spice from all the fighting
Dragons
Pokemon.
Exalted, Boundaries Cross. This isn't even XY, my apologies. That's black-white on.
Yeah. All right, there we see the third energy come down on the active Buzzwole. And we'll probably see an Absorption GX to take the knockout. He could also Knuckle Impact, save Absorption for later. But like you said before, the more prize cards you take, the weaker Absorption is.
Yep,
so
there it is.
this is really your only chance.
GX token flipped over. Getting rid of one of those Zoroark GXs is a really big deal. The other one coming into the active for Phinnegan.
I just think it's crazy to see how we haven't seen a Trubbish or a Garbodor.
I think it's something he really doesn't want. He wants to put the pressure on so early, and it's something he can pull out late. I mean, all we've seen is this flurry of fighting types.
You say late, but these games have gone, what, 5 turns?
Yeah. I mean, short games. We see the choice band actually attached to the bench on this one.
Then there's the Hex Maniac.
The trade.
Maybe he has the Field Blower?
He's got to have something, because otherwise he's not going to hit the numbers with this Fury Belt in play.
I see a Pokemon Communication in hand, but no Pokemon to actually use it.
Right, none of those. If he had something that was...
Oh, it does look like he has a First Seeker for a Colress.
Yeah, he's lined it up. Just mulling over his decision. There it is. Checking the discard, being sure
But
there's
he already
nothing.
played the Hex Maniac this turn.
Just grabbing it for next turn.
Or maybe he traded the Hex Maniac. He definitely traded the Hex Maniac.
Traded the
yeah.
Hex Maniac. He kind of... Finnegan's been doing us a big favor here by tapping the Zoroarks and making sure that they're nice and clear.
That makes so much more sense.
I was like, wait, did he?
But he definitely runs the risk of whiffing this knockout.
I think he has to try, though, instead of the guarantee. I don't know why the choice fan comes down onto the Zorua. I think making sure you can get it down up front would be nice. There's certainly outs for Phinnegan here.
I do like the choice band on the Zorua, though, just because it's so good on foul play.
Right.
Being able to foul play Knuckle Impact with the choice band to take the knockout on Buzzwole.
Yeah, we see...
Does he have it? He has the Ultra Ball.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, all of his executes, or pretty much all of them, are on the field.
That was always going to be a risk. Whenever he put those in there just to get the extra damage from Riotous beating.
Well, honestly, the risk right now is Zach just wins with a Guzma.
Yeah.
Or, 2 attacks.
Yeah, it's either this turn or next turn, unless he can... He really needs to stop this Buzzwole from going this turn. Right, we do see him pull up Computer Search as well.
So, the perfect cards that Finn can get.
Oh, my apologies, I don't think it was. Oh?
The perfect cards that he could get would be enough Pokemon in play, and then Field Blower his own Skyfield to get rid of the executes. I know I'm going deep in the tank here, but
yeah, he needs to have enough in play to make sure he can still get the knockout, and then put the executes back in.
Yeah,
Ooh,
but no.
That'd be a big play if he could.
There's Versus Seeker Strong Energy showing the Guzma in his discard, and that is game. Zach takes game 2.
Yep, still falling a little bit short there from Phinnegan, so Zach Lesage is going to level it up. We do see the next card coming off the top was the Float Stone as well, so just in case he needed to do any maneuvering, if there was any kind of stalling plays there from Phinnegan, he had the answer to it.
Yeah, exactly, and it's just showing how powerful Jet Punch is against a deck like Zoroark. Couldn't pull it out the first game, but Phinnegan with that foul play Zoroark turn 2,
yeah.
And he could have stole the game right there. Just like, yeah, Absorption game.
Yeah, basically he's living and dying on the foul play right now. If he gets it off, great. If he doesn't, it's kind of a different ball game.
Yeah, and going into this tournament, I was actually a proponent of the stand-in Zoroark with Mind Jack, just because in the mirror match, it makes it so you can attack when you don't have a full bench, and it leads to like punishing your opponent for overcommitting. But it seems like foul play Zoroark is just better.
I think with some of the crazy big GX attacks that you have now, it seems silly not to turn up and say, hey, I'm just going to use that.
Yeah.
Because when you're playing a Zoroark deck like Finnegan's, you very rarely use its own GX attack.
Yeah, you never have Darkness Energy, so really...
I mean, you can't. In most decks you physically can't, but nobody builds their deck to the point that they can play them. So you may as well bring something that can take advantage of the GX mechanic, and in this case it's Foul Play Zoroark.
Yeah, and we saw that work wonderfully game 1. Game 2, it would have spelled game over, but he
Just
could not find it.
Yep, had to find it at a more opportune time. So I honestly believe that's what Game 3 is going to be decided by. Does he use Foul Play Zoroark effectively to knock out something on Zach's bench? And if Zach does have that happen, is he able to recover, unlike he was in Game 1?
Yeah, we'll see. Players are getting set up for their last game, round 5. These players are not 4-0, they're 3-0-1, but it's still a very good start to this tournament. And remember, around 20 match points will make it into day 2.
Yeah, it's a lower bar than we've had at previous tournaments, purely because of the volume.
Yeah, not having 1,000 players kind of changes it.
Helps. Changes the numbers a lot.
Yeah,
but it'd be interesting to see how that affects our cut tomorrow, though. Because we've become quite accustomed to these huge cuts with huge amounts of players, and with that in mind, do we get a slightly different cross-section?
Well, it's definitely going to be just 32 people. There's not going to be the extra cut and people like whiffing top 32 and not getting money.
Right.
It's really just going to come down to how, it's really just a consistency thing where can my Zoroark deck perform against playing 7 other Zoroark decks day 1?
Right.
Is this deck that I made to beat Zoroark going to actually get paired up against Zoroark?
I think if you're running Zoroark, you've got to avoid the Buzzwolves. That would be nice. It definitely helps. And even if you do come up against them, can you outplay and outmaneuver them to the point that you're just not affected by it?
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see if Zach can actually get Garbodor out. Because
it's been non-existent. I'm going to be honest with you, Jeremy. I think you're lying, and I don't think Garbodor's in the deck.
Maybe there's just a decklist error, and they had to take it all. He just added in more fighting energy or something like that.
I think what he's done is he's replaced the Garbodor with throwback cards from Black White on era.
Got a Terrakion, got a Landorus.
Yep.
Who needs Garbodor?
I'm sure there's some other gems in there. Mewtwo EX.
Yeah.
Just for the Garbodor mirror. He baits people into thinking it's Garbodor, then he just drops Mewtwo EX.
Well, on his deck listing, it says Buzzwall Garbodor in big caps.
You've got to wonder, where are the Garbodors?
We haven't even seen him, draw into him.
Not even seen a Trubbish, let alone a Garbodor.
All right, Phinnegan starts things off for Game 3. Starts that Shaman, but remember, he is playing 3 and has the Bridget in hand, getting those 3 Zorua down.
Those Zorua that are going to be, I don't want to say easy pickings for the Buzzwole, but pretty simple to take out. I mean, we didn't see a wide lens play in Game 2, but if he does have to drop down 3 Zorua, which he's going to do, again, if he's just starting with the lone Buzzwole, he can make one of those Guzma plays to grab one and wide lens for the other, then he could really accelerate himself into the lead here. And I think these first 3 turns are where Buzzwole wins or loses, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. And he only plays that 1 copy of wide lens as well, being able to search for it with Karina. And there we see Finn actually attaching double colors to the Shaman. Probably the 1 card on this board that is safe from not getting knocked out next turn.
Yeah, I mean, with the resistance as well, it'll take a mere 10.
Yeah.
Potentially from Jet Punch, so not too worried about that. But I don't think that's the target at all for Zach. I really don't think that's what he's going for.
And this is what Zach wants to see. When your opponent plays a Puzzle of Time for 1, you have to think you're sitting pretty. And here's the Karina. We could be seeing that wide lens coming down.
No reason not to. You've got all these Zoruas on the bench. Being able to take one. Does go through the deck a couple times, making sure all his things that he'd like are in there.
Both the maxis are prized.
He's prized the single wide lens. I mean, this is his first search. He's entitled to have a good butchers through his deck and basically see what he wants.
I would think wide lens, Buzzwole.
Yeah, I mean, there's wide lens. And there's Buzzwole.
So what Zach wants to do now is he doesn't want to have just his only energy on this active Buzzwole because foul play is a very big concern. So if he has access to some Max Elixirs in his hand, attach the active Max Elixir a couple to the bench, and you're sitting pretty. You have a response. That's the thing he hasn't had for these 2 times against
There's
this
Terrakion.
foul play is a response to it after he takes a knockout.
Yeah, I mean, what he could do with the Terrakion here is actually start Max Elixiring onto that, and then if something does happen to his Buzzwole in the active, then he can pump up Smash and get a ton of energy, going again. So I think that's kind of a nice way to root through it. He does Ultra Ball this time.
I think we might see our first Trubbish of the game, and
There it is!
He does actually play the Garbodor.
Well,
Surprising.
Color me surprised. Yeah, I wasn't quite sure if it was actually in there, but I mean, maybe he thinks it's the key to victory. Of course, he did, get off to a good start in game 2, but maybe Zach thinking this one's going to go a little bit longer, does want to have that Garbodor as an option for later.
Well, you also play it to the fact that Finn, puzzle time, look at the top 3 cards, and he's most likely going to Sky Return next turn.
Yeah.
To try to draw more cards with that Shaman, so if you get Garbodor out next turn, you're sitting pretty.
Well, he's certainly going to want Garbodor now, as we see Zoroark coming into play for Phinnegan. Going to be opening the option, of course, to those trades. There's one. It's the Hexmaniac traded. Let's just remember that one.
I was actually wondering why there was so many poison and burn markers on Zach's side of the field, but he's actually using them to count trades, I believe, and like abilities.
Yep.
So you see him flipping them over, marking anytime he uses it.
Well, I mean, in this case, it's for his opponent's benefit.
Well, yeah. But you want to make sure your opponent just uses the correct amount of trades, because these turns could take a while. You're like, all right, discard a card, discard another card, play a supporter, shuffle my deck, evolve into a few Pokemon. Have I used trade yet?
Right, especially when you trade for something you want to play. It's not that at the beginning of turn, everyone just trade.
Yeah.
You trade, see what you got, use it, come back. It's definitely a good idea to keep track. Something that, All
right, here's the Ultra Ball coming down, and it looking like another Shaman EX. Really trying to draw out of this hand before that Garbodor comes down.
Wants to make sure everything is in place before Garbodor comes to play, because then he's basically going to be playing manually, to say the least. His search abilities are going to be, or his draw abilities are going to be turned off. Search abilities from Tapu Lele are turned off. It's really back to basics, like you've just cracked open a theme deck.
That's a pretty good theme deck when it has Shaman EXs and Zoroarks.
Why has that one not been made yet? Where do I get this? At your local card retailer. Preferably collector's cash.
Ooh. That was good. All right, 4th Zoroark coming down thanks to that puzzle time. Shaman set up for the full 6. We do see a Battle Compressor. One thing he has been missing for this first 2 turns has been Execute.
Right, he's actually had to trade away real resources, not just eggs that he propagated. See the Battle Compressor now, and yep, there they are, all 3 of them. Just
checking for the real card though. Executor is still in the deck.
Okay, so
it's not prized.
That's the one he's going to need to get around this Terrakion. It's the only thing he's got that can hit it for weakness. Or he could fill his bench and just Riotous beating it.
That doesn't have any flair to it.
I understand that, but
you need a blockade for 80.
And then blockade for 80.
And then blockade for the knockout.
Or Riotous beating for knockout.
To each his own, I guess.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure when you walk down the tables at these tournaments, that's all you hear now. In both standard and expanded, it's just Riotous beating for knockout, and then Riotous beating for knockout. Okay, yes.
I hear a lot of Hexmaniac, Riotous beating for knockout. There's also a lot of trade.
Yeah, I think if you took like an audio feed, that's all you'd be able to piece out. It's just like trade, discard, trade.
I'll end you to 1. Okay, I'll trade, draw 6 cards.
Execute, trade, execute, trade, execute, trade.
That's really what this has come down to, but it's because Zoroark and Execute as cards are just so inherently powerful to where it really just shapes the format.
I mean, Execute came out and a lot of people talked about it to say, it's pretty good, like it's a good idea. You can chuck them in there early and then pull them out. And then obviously they died off a bit, but now we've got a card that you want 1 spare card a turn. Yeah, this is perfect.
And there we see the red card coming down from Finn, a card that exploded into the format at Dallas. The one of red card featured in both the finals decks, and being able to just red card your Zoroark opponent, Hex Maniac, and then take a knockout, it really swings the matchup. And here we see the Getsus after the red card, and
got him good there.
Oh man,
that humble, strong energy left in play. We saw a Max Elixir go back in the deck as well, and we were talking about it last turn. How nice it would be to start accelerating energy with Max Elixir. Well, not anymore.
Yeah, and now we see the propagation on the egg, because Finn does need one more Pokemon to take the knockout on the Buzzwole. Or no, two. He needs two, right?
Let me just do a quick count. Pokemon communication. Put the execute back in. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Because the 190 throws it off, so he needs the full.
Yeah, he needs the full kit and caboodle on this one.
But he does have it with the other eggs in the discard.
Yeah, I mean, he just have to commit one of the eggs to the bench just to be able to get there. And
but you're essentially playing perfect information. Like, okay, I'm going to knock this out, you have an energy in hand, and you're playing off the top.
It's a strong energy.
I guess.
But the strong energy, I think, of Terrakion actually makes the numbers pretty interesting, because when you look at it, Terrakion doing the 50 up to 70 means you can just stick with that. You still want to try and weave in a pump-up smash, though.
And I think he might actually just sacrifice this Terrakion, charge up the Buzzwole on the bench. I think Buzzwole might just be better at this point.
Right, leave Terrakion up there on its own.
But
the problem is if he gives it Terrakion, he can't pump-up smash. But if he gives up Buzzwole, he's kind of running thin on resources.
Yeah, and it looks like he did not draw anything, so there's just a pass from Zach. And Phinnegan had the knockout last turn, he's going to have the knockout this turn. And that's what Zoroark does. Like, you saw Zach actually flash the hand that Finn red carded away.
Yeah.
It was Garbodor, Cynthia.
Yeah. Yeah, he didn't have a choice. And as well to Getsus him after that.
Oh, that was dirty.
Yeah, but that's the combination that everyone loves. It's like, I'll put you down to 4, and then hopefully get you down to even less. Against decks that kind of have lesser draw support than some of the other decks in the formats, like no Octilleries, not even like a Premonition to help you to put that in order. It's pretty nasty to get caught by something like that.
Yeah, and then we see the Guzma bringing up that Terrakion and Floatstone on the Zoroark GX, meaning, yeah, I'm just going to take out your energy, and what are you going to do?
Not much, really. I mean, imagine if you had a Max Elixir or something to accelerate with. That'd be great. But,
good old red card just screwing up everyone's plans.
Red card gets us.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it would have been lovely to put a Garbodor into play, but it's still not there. We're still sat with just a humble Trubbish on the bench.
And this is why I believe Zoroark is the best deck right now in this format, because he's playing a deck that's literally tailor-made to beat Zoroark in Buzzwole, Garbodor. Like, you have fighting Pokemon, Garbodor. I'm weak to fighting and use a lot of abilities. I should auto-lose to this deck every single time.
On paper, you cannot lose this matchup, but then when you actually see it played out, the amount of damage that Zoroark does, the fact it only needs like a singular window of trades to get back in the game from a losing position is absolutely nuts. And I think that's just proof that Zoroark is a little bit busted.
It is, but
or very good.
I think it's a little bit of both. But it also fosters so many different decks as well.
Right.
Because
you can play so much with it.
It's colorless to attack with, and it helps your consistency. Alright, I'll play it in literally with any Pokemon.
Right. There's been so much talk recently of how splashable it is, really, and how it can be used as a nice core. Any deck that's relying on DCE anyway.
And I think this is the game right here. Versus Seeker for the Guzma. Bring up the Buzzwole. And Finn will take the match 2-1 against Zach Lesage. His teammate